प्रशांत जी,
हाँ जी।
सीबल में काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें ऐसी हैं जो हमने अभी बात नहीं की है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, इफ समवन मेंशंस ई स्क्रिप्ट, आई थिंक यू नो व्हाट इज ई स्क्रिप्ट. मुझे याद है हमने कभी कभी बात की है. कैन यू टेल मी व्हाट इज ई स्क्रिप्ट? Siebel has its own proprietary language called eScript. eScript. Siebel is made in C++, that we don't care about. Within Siebel platform that they have created, they have also given us another programming language called eScript, which is like JavaScript, which can be used to change the behavior of Siebel within from Siebel tools. Siebel tools is the development environment of Siebel. Okay, and I've shown you guys Siebel tools. Within Siebel tools, eScript can be used to change the behavior of the objects drastically. eScript is quite powerful. Okay, it is like JavaScript. Okay, so that's it. I want you to know what is eScript. Okay, if someone mentions which needs eScript code, you know it's heavy customization or minor customization. It's not configuration though. It is definitely customization. I remember, right? Talking about that. Second thing, Siebel 6 used to have something called a Siebel VB also. I don't know whether Siebel VB is present now or not. I don't know. But I have only heard Siebel eScript from the developers. Okay, how Siebel VB comes into picture, don't worry, but do remember Siebel VB was also another language used by Siebel in the past, or maybe even now. If someone says Siebel VB, don't get clean bold. You should know
Siebel Visual Basic.
It is another language which can be used to change Siebel's behavior. Same thing, same like eScript. It was based on VB, but when was it phased out? When did, I don't know. Technical guys know all these things quite well, and how it is different from eScript, I don't know, and really I don't care also. Um, what is EIM? What is EAI? What is VBC? What is EBC? Okay, do you know? Do you remember that?
Enterprise.
EIM is Enterprise Integration Manager. EAI is Enterprise Application Integration. VBC is Virtual Business Component. EBC is Enterprise Business Component. Okay?
Can you be little slow? I mean, I don't know.
What happens is EAM is used for batch integration. EAM is used for batch integration. So basically, what happens is, I explained the entire data conversion process, right, Prashantji? Remember? So EIM is used for data integration. So you just remember that whenever someone says EIM, that means batch integration is he's talking about. Whenever someone says Siebel में batch integration करना है, that means we have to use EIM technology of Siebel. EAI is for real-time integration. Whenever someone says real-time integration, that means EAI will be used. Whenever someone mentions EAI, that means real-time is what he's talking about. Okay?
VBC.
VBC. VBC I will explain. You don't need it. But what happens is, sometimes the requirement is that GUI of Siebel will be used in the 3D architecture. Siebel is a 3-tier architecture, right? Right. So the top layer will be Siebel. Yeah. So data goes from here, Siebel from up and down, right here, like this. This is Siebel application I'm showing. Yeah. And this is another application, another system. Sometimes the requirement is right here in GUI of Siebel, data of some other application should be directly shown without getting into Siebel first. It's kind of, so VBC is the technology used for that.
Okay.
Okay. So VBC basically will directly take the data from this source.
Okay.
Okay. One option is you can get the data from this source into Siebel first and then show it. Then regular thing will be, it's regular thing. This is a regular way Siebel works. But if I directly show from here to here, then VBC technology is used. How VBCs work, how VBCs are configured, you don't need to know. But it's possible to connect directly to that database. How it hits you as a BA is it possible? Yes or no? Yes. Is it bad? Yes. Is it a good idea to implement this? No. Is it performance? Is it a big performance drain? Yes, it is. Okay. Should you accept these requirements? No. Is it a huge maintenance issue? Yes.
When is it preferred then? Okay.
What is workflow manager? What is assignment manager? What is business service? Let's talk about it. आपको सुना आपने मेरे मुंह से नाम अभी तक? It's a first of highly technical concept. There is a correspondingly a business concept, business workflow. Let's say some user comes and says, we want our entire workflow to be supported by Siebel. He's not talking about Siebel workflow. He's only talking about his business workflow, that is business process. And we know that business process has to be, we have to do a lot of analysis. What is the current process? What is the to-be process? What part we want to do in Siebel? What part we don't want to do in Siebel? Blah, blah, blah. That's an analysis that we do every day. That's a different story. But when someone is talking about Siebel workflow, This is what he's really talking about. In Siebel, there is a way to have sequence of code to be, you can control this, like what code should be executed first, then what code should be executed next. Let me talk about it a little bit more. So let's say an order is submitted. Okay, when he clicks on submit order, order details should go to the SAP system or the backend system, and the confirmation should come. Till that point, it should wait for the confirmation, and it should update the same order, not some other order, right?
Now it's breaking. The voice is breaking.
Behind the scenes, Mr. Developer will write 3 chunks of code. One is to send the data, second one is to receive the data, third one is to update the data in Siebel. Or maybe another chunk to read the data from Siebel first and then to send the data. This whole thing has to be executed in a sequence. These all chunks of code have to be executed in a sequence. This technology in Siebel is called as Siebel workflow. And in the new Siebel 7.5 onwards, it's called as Siebel Business Process Manager. Nothing can be more confusing than this, because it's now they call it Business Process Manager, but it is not Business Process Manager. It is this technical thing that I'm explaining.
So only it is concerned only when machine.
Very good. Workflow can be used. This technical construct can be used on multiple occasions. For example, let's say just as an order is submitted, an email should go to the rep. That just as it submits, this code will be generated, and the workflow will generate emails to everybody. Workflow will basically go to his contact ID, pick his email, populate it in this thing, create a message, submit this to the communication server. Communication server will send it further. Okay, so there is a sequence of code, technical sequence of code. I'm sure you know that, right? This technical sequence of code has to execute behind the scenes in certain sequence. If email is not found, then it should raise an exception, and there should be an error raised. And there is a frequent technical requirement, there is a requirement from the technical standpoint that sequence of code should be generated.
It's like something like if you approve, then it has to follow this path. If it's rejected, then it has to follow this path.
Yeah, but then that is business process. So whenever there is a business process, it may not be implemented using workflow. Siebel workflow is a highly technical concept. That's what I'm trying to say. Perfect example is what he said. Just as a service request comes in, we should assign it to level 1 rep. Will Siebel workflow be used? No. Just owner has to be assigned, right? It will be automatically assigned. Then from level 1 should assign it to level 2. Will the Siebel workflow be used? No. But is the business process is there? There is a business process. Other thing is, let's say an order has to be submitted to someone before it's approved. It should be approved by someone before it is submitted. It does not require Siebel workflow at all. Order submission, after the order is created, it can just change the owner field in the order, and that will be visible in the my order screen of that guy, and he will unapprove it. Then this thing will come back. It will start showing in this thing in my approved orders list. If it's rejected, it will start showing in my rejected orders list. So Siebel workflow has not been used, although business workflow has come into picture. Making sense? Siebel workflow is a technical sequence of certain components that have been. So these are written by developers. There are two things. The way it will hit you is, one is you have to be able to identify a workflow requirement. Workflow requirements are extremely complex to implement and maintain. Second thing is, whenever they mention business workflow, you should not confuse it with workflow. Whenever they mention Siebel workflow, you should not confuse it with business workflow, right? And I've seen interviewers deliberately asking these questions, and I'm sure you guys will be asked this question as part of your job also. Do you think we can do this business workflow using Workflow Manager? Janushka is playing with you. You should say two different things. What are you talking? What process are you talking about? Then explain the process. This one doesn't require Siebel workflow. Okay? Yeah. Second thing is assignment manager. Assignment manager.
Okay.
So I have explained assignment manager in detail in another video for you guys, but let me go over something that can at least help Prashant tomorrow. The way it works is, when a call comes, then there are, let's say, 10 reps. It should not be assigned to one single rep every time. Out of those 10 reps, whosoever is free is the main criteria. Let's say it's related to billing. Then let's say there are 4 billing reps, 4 product related reps, 4 troubleshooters. It should be assigned to those 4 billing people. And out of those 4, it should be assigned to the free guy. So there is some logic here, right? This workflow, it is a workflow requirement.
Sir, whenever
This
you
is
call-
a very special kind of workflow in SQL called as assignment manager. Whenever automatic assignment has to be done, assignment manager is used. Assignment manager is very different from workflow, the way it is maintained in SQL, the way it is done in SQL. Assignment manager requirement is simple word is auto assignment. Whenever you hear an auto assignment, you should think, okay, it looks like it's an assignment manager requirement. At the end of the day, how it works, how it hits you, how it works, how technically it should be coded, you don't need to know. But for the assignments to work properly, it acts on data. Like person has to be free. If he let's say person is on vacation, it should not be assigned to him. But where in the system will he add that he is on vacation? That's definitely part of your duties to do this analysis. Is there a place that where he mentions? If he doesn't mention this thing anywhere, obviously auto assignment will not work properly. It will get assigned to him also, because system does not have the data. Remember, it again comes back to this thing. If the data is available, then you can do whatever you want, right? So data has to be maintained. Let's say someone says, can we do like this, that when the call comes in, we assign only to the people who are relevant to that product? So basically, ma'am, you have to maintain this product to sales rep mapping. If you don't maintain product to sales rep mappings, then this assignment will not work properly. And who will maintain this mapping? So this is a question back to the users from me whenever I hear this requirement. Who will maintain this? We will not maintain this. If you want to maintain this, assignments will work properly. And yes, then we know behind the scenes that we just have to tweak assignment manager to say that do the assignments on the basis of this thing. It's not a good requirement again, it's a complex requirement, but auto assignment requirements are there. Okay, but you have heard it now, assignment manager. If you hear it, you should know auto assignment is what people are talking about. What is business service? So business service, remember I was saying that chunks of code, those chunks of code, eScript code is called as business service. So for example, one of my friends, I said, what is the exact process for sending the email to the rep? Let's say an order is submitted, an email should be sent to the contact that your order was submitted. Just a hypothetical scenario. He says he needs the email ID of the contact which is at the contact level. So just as the order is submitted, behind the scenes, a code will get executed. We know the technical sequence of code, like workflow will be executed. He will write 3 chunks of code. One to get the contact email ID. Second one to get the email template. Third one to send using the communication server. First one to get this thing will be eScript code. It will be packaged in a business service. Remember you guys used to write functions for C++, C? You will pass parameters, input parameters, it will pass back the output parameters, right?
Yes.
Right? So that in a general purpose code, you will just say order ID, it will send you back the contact email. You write the general purpose code, package in a business service. Business service is nothing but a function that way, right? And then these business service will be called by those workflow. So workflow is sequencing these chunks of code. Those chunks of codes are the business service. To me, there is nothing more into business service than this. Although business service is a huge concept for a technical guy, he cannot live without business service. He has to write business services every day. Whenever it's configuration, any developer can do. Good developers, business service is what makes a good developer. Like he has to know how to write business service, how to make workflows, how to write assignment managers, how to do assignment manager configuration, stuff like that. Okay, but you have heard it now. Smart script. In SQL, there is a functionality called as smart script. What it does is, let's say the data entry of the data entry of the rep is conditional in nature. Ask first question from the caller. Did you purchase this product from us or from our partner? If he says no, yes, from us, then go ahead and enter the service request. No, say, sir, please call that partner. Thank you very much. Right? So
Automatic script.
Yeah, automatic script. So you have probably got a lot of exposure to those automatic scripts. Those are smart scripts. And if you see, the entire flow can be governed. Other thing is, let's say, other very good use cases, let's say he says, I bought from you. Okay, sir, what is the problem in the laptop? Is it turning off? Is it turning on? If he says yes, do this. If he says no, do that. You can clearly envision this
You
requirement.
can say it's a Microsoft.
Yeah, exactly. And there is branching involved.
Yes.
And not all the steps have to be done. And certain fields become required if certain branch is executed. Otherwise, it is not required. right? This kind of requirements mean smart script. This is how smart script looks like. I'm gonna just play a smart script for you quickly.
Got it.
Hanji, this is our first context. Okay, we
ये आपने एक्सप्लेन किया है वीडियोस में.
yes. So yeah, but I want to make a crisp thing. Very important thing is if you notice there are clients and contacts, which service rep, sales rep, marketing rep, and partner, all these guys are dealing with. They are the users of Siebel, and they're using Siebel to deal with clients and contacts, which can be together called as customers. So basically, they're dealing with customers. Okay, Divya? Supervisors and low-level managers are also dealing with the reps, the workforce, as well as sometimes they're dealing with the customers also. These are all users of Siebel. They use Siebel, and there could be other people like VPs and directors. They use Siebel for certain things too. Okay. At a high level, what I'm trying to say again and again is these guys are the users of Siebel, right? And they use Siebel. Okay? Customers in this context, just want to make sure you guys should know, customers are not using Siebel. They are helped by the reps. This big line I'm trying to draw, and I'm trying to simply say that people above this line are outside of company. People below this line are inside the company. Let's say you go to work for Dell. So below this line, people are all working for Dell. This stakeholder or champion or sponsor is the guy who envisioned the project that, okay, we have sales issues. We were using Excel in the past, or we're using Kana CRM in the past, or we were using SFDC, Salesforce.com in the past. Now we want to use Siebel or CRM on demand, or whatever the case is. He says this will make our sales process more strong. We can do better sales. We can supervise them properly. There are goals of a CRM. When they implement a new CRM, there are goals, and they keeping all this in mind. These guys provide the money. So stakeholder is simply who provides the money. Sometimes we ask a question to the beginners, what is a champion? What is a sponsor? All words interchangeably used for stakeholder, which basically means he's the one who's providing money for this project. SMEs are the ones who are sitting in the meeting with you and giving you requirements. These SMEs would have met with service reps, sales reps, marketing reps, and various supervisors, low-level managers, VPs, directors, and stakeholders, and they would have, on their behalf, these guys will give you requirements. Typically, they will choose an SME from service reps, among service reps or sales reps. Or this guy could be like a person who has actually worked as a sales rep in the past. Or even now his partial duties could be sales rep duties. Who knows? But SME is the guy who will sit with you, and he would be the subject matter expert on the entire sales process or entire service process for whatever you are gathering the requirement for. Okay? I'm drawing this little thinner line. I'm trying to say above this is biz and below this is IT, information technology. We call all these people as business people. This is not business, of course. So below this is IT, right? You know this. First of all, PMs and BAs are the ones who interact with stakeholders and SMEs and gather the requirements from them. Okay. Then developers, testers, app admin, server admin, dev.
What is the SME again?
Subject matter expert. So these people are part of your Siebel implementation, and you are all working together to gather requirements to make it a success as far as Siebel implementation is concerned. And PM and BA, you guys are basically dealing with the SMEs and gathering requirements. These guys don't talk to SMEs that much. Okay? So, but this is the entire Siebel team typically. Okay? Do you know what each guy does? PM, project manager, business analyst, developers, testers, app admin. Do you know what is an app admin? Do you know what is a server admin? Okay. Do you know what is a developer? Same, it's just repeat, sorry. So app admin is a guy, you see, when in Siebel, the user ID and login ID password of these users, all these users have to be set up, otherwise they can't use Siebel. Someone has to enter it. We don't use developers for that purpose. App admins. Someone has to set up the responsibility, what the users should see, what they should not see, things like that. That guy is app admin. He typically, like I'm entering, so this is called as application level data. So this is another context. We'll get to that. So all the application level data will be entered by app admins. We envision 3 user IDs. I just gave you example. Then I gave you the example of uh, responsibilities and positions. In one of the projects I did, there were 108 items that they had to set up before the application could be used. Right? This is an inherent part of the application. Without this, application is unusable. Functionally, there must be all the functionalities available, but if a person cannot, if his login ID password is not set up on the first day after production rollout, nothing will happen. We understand that part, right, guys? Server admin is a guy, they are in charge of Siebel server performance. This is the key difference. So they're in charge of Siebel server. So basically server, application servers. In the chapter 4, you'll understand different kind of Siebel servers. This is what they are in charge of. And you will not be dealing with them, don't worry. All this. So these developers or tech lead, they work in conjunction with system administrators, database or Oracle administrators, network admins, SSO admins, SCM or software chain management, production rollout team, to be able to deliver from a technical perspective, to deliver the solution from a technical perspective. PMs and BAs are basically dealing with the users. Okay. App admin, server admin, What is, okay, now I'm going to ask you, where should you put this? If you hear this word in front of you, where do you put it? Who they could be? Power user. Who they could be? Are they are they part of the IT team? Are they part of this team, this team, this team, or this team? I want you to say something. Yes.
Uber.
Here?
Power user.
Here?
Customer.
No. So power users are like, they should be above this line or below this line in business. Do they use Siebel basically? Hi Jobit, how are you?
In stakeholders line.
Okay. Jobit? Hello Jobit?
Yeah, Gaurav.
Sorry Jobit. Okay, I know it's kind of late. Let me go over what we are doing. So we are, as you know, Prashant and Sai are from the last batch. So we have 4 candidates here in the new batch, and I would say you are also kind of in the middle of the batch only. So this is
I'll consider myself with this new batch. So
Chalo, theek hai. So every time I'm having a meeting with this batch, you are gonna be a must, and I'm starting with this batch from scratch. Scratch means like really scratch, the way I typically like to start. Okay?
That is great. Yeah.
Okay.
So
New project, you hear new words. I want to make sure the perspective is clear. You put it in the right place. You see? So I told you different places. Okay, if it don't matter, I want to know now if you hear a new word, where do you put it? For example, power user. Name suggests they use it. She says below this line. Do you know what power users mean, by the way? Have you seen? Power user is basically data administrators. No? For example, some people like 100, let's say there are 1,000 sales reps. There must be one user who fixes the data for them. So he's a power user who sets up email templates or who sets up new products. So this setting up new product, for example, setting up pricing of a product. Siebel guys won't do it. Business would want to control that. They want to set up the price properly. One power user would be in charge of setting up the products and the prices and the email templates and things like that. And Siebel guys, like this guys below this team, these technical people also don't want to do this job because it's an unnecessary work for them. So I can clearly see the role of power user is very important. They should be somewhere, literally here. Okay. So we discussed this. I'm going to put it back somewhere here. Compliance team. Where do you put it, Varun? So compliance team, legal team sits right here because they're like VPs, directors. They help them in defining the legal. From a legal perspective, they validate their strategy that this is the right thing to do. So they impact our requirements a lot. So they do not give us the direct requirements, but SMEs, talk to legal team before they really finalize the requirement for us. Okay. For example, visibility requirements. Many requirements are basically like terms and condition requirements. I've heard like different areas which basically have to be checked with, like for example, terms and conditions should be shown to the customer, right? To the customers. So then how it should be shown, when it should not be shown. Let's say they're changing the process. They have to find out whether the legal team is okay with it. Similarly, compliance team. Compliance team is also here somewhere. Okay. Compliance team also helps VPs and directors from a compliance perspective, whether you're adhering to all the FDA rules and regulations or not. Typically, there are some validation testers job, if you remember. They sit right here, they report either to this project manager or they report directly to this compliance team manager. And you know, in Abbott Labs, they have a separate hierarchy of compliance team. The compliance guys, they don't report to compliance project manager. They report to compliance team because in Abbott Labs there was an issue. So they created a separate department just to check on people, check on every project. They wanted to make sure every project is compliant. Okay. High level managers and mid level managers, where do they sit? Do they use Siebel? Then they will be above this. If they don't use Siebel, they will be below this in the business. Obviously, they are managers.
Yeah, so they'll be above.
They will be above. So that's fine. It's debatable. It's okay. They also use Siebel. They may not use Siebel. That's fine. Users. If you hear this word, who do we mean?
Sales.
End user.
Customers, end user.
Sales.
And in this context, who do we mean?
Reps.
How-
Reps.
Anything below this, anything above this. Right? Even this, below, above this, anything, anybody could be using Siebel. Even customers could be using Siebel. So anything above this is basically user. Business. If you hear business, someone says, let me talk to business and get back to you. What is he saying? Which people does he mean here? He really means SMEs.
SMS, business tools.
Right? Alright? Integration expert. If you hear integration expert,
Deployment, developer.
among this, yeah, he's like a developer.
below.
Data admin. If you hear data admin,
DBA.
no,
Yeah.
DBA is right here. Oracle admin.
Data admin is like app admin, right?
Application.
Pretty much like that.
Yeah.
Bad job expert, EAM expert.
QA.
Same here, like a dev. No, dev. He will be part of Siebel team. He will be right here. Process owner, anybody. This is the key thing. And the process probably. What is a process owner and where does he sit? Right? You know how there is a big process. Half of the process is in Siebel. Let's say order is created in Siebel.
Okay.
But then it is set up proper in entirety in some other system, and then it is submitted, and then it goes to another system for order fulfillment. So Siebel will say, okay, we'll make sure the order is created properly in our system, and we'll support it. Make sure the requirements are properly gathered for all this. Order fulfillment guy says, we'll make sure that if the order is submitted to us, once the data comes to us, we'll make sure that it is fulfilled properly. But who is responsible for the entire process? Making sure the customer is satisfied at the end of the day. Our orders are getting created and submitted, whether it's Siebel, whether it's website, wherever. See, someone has to understand the entire process. So these VPs, and directors, they hire process owners who report directly to them. So VP thinks of like in terms of strategies, right? They think of strategies. When they think of strategies, they think in terms of how the processes will support their strategies. What processes do they need to have? They don't think below that. How the processes are implemented using systems, that's another team. But we, like SMEs and all, they are basically helping us, and we are helping them in getting the requirement for those processes and for those systems. But someone is there, whether it's done on paper, pencil, or in a system, or howsoever, through a website, but they will be basically process owners. They'll be making sure the process is never compromised. Very good example is, let's say Siebel crashes one of these days. Right, process owner's responsibilities. So Siebel guy will say, if my system crashes, this is the probability, and I cannot do anything beyond that. Right? So we will tell them, okay, 1% once in a year it can happen, whatever, for 1 hour. Process owner's responsibility is, he will tell this to VPs and say, okay, you know what, we need some kind of business continuity plan. Whenever there is system crash, we should have some kind of a backup so that we can keep creating orders. Process owners, huge job is in play here. He is basically thinking all these things. He has to make sure the process never stops. They are like SMEs. We are going around, process owners बात कर रहे रहते हैं सबसे, BS से भी बात करते हैं. They give the requirements also. They make sure the requirements are gathered properly. They'll sit there. They are really responsible for the delivery also. But that's what I've said. They work in conjunction with stakeholders, and they are very visible in the projects if they are.
Okay.
Process owners and they're quite powerful also. If they say we don't want to hire these guys, I don't think they can do a good job, because stakeholders, they have budgets. They give money. They give money to these people. All these people are funded by their money. So process owners are the one who are making sure that the money is being spent properly. If a wrong BA is hired, process owner feels that this is a wrong BA, he will be the first one to take action, right? Typically, they are very positive-minded people, so don't worry, I want to scare you also. So this is one context, very important context. These are the roles in a Siebel implementation. Okay? So why this context is needed? What happens is, I was talking to my friend, one of my candidates. I said, what is a sales methodology? So I'll explain what is sales methodology. Sales methodology is used by salespeople to sell to customers. Okay? At the same time, if you go to a client side, okay, this is another context thing first. Livia. So I went to the project and I said, I was talking. He said, we were talking. I was talking to one of my I was talking to my project manager, and he was explaining the entire project. Then the guy came, like a guy in a proper suit and attire. Everything was very nice. The air he was carrying was he was a very superior guy. Then she said, she introduced. This is a new BA who joined, and this is this customer bar. What does she mean here? The question is, I went to the project. I'm a new guy. I'm a new BA who joined. So my project manager, someone walked in the office, someone is there. She said, this is our new BA, that is me. To me, she is telling me who this guy is. She says, he is the customer. What is she? What does she mean? Let me ask, does he mean this?
No.
Does she mean this? No. No. Answer is big no. It's written here, I forgot. So I was explaining, sales methodology. This is how sales methodology is used by the sales reps to sell, and it's our duty to make sure that our system is adhering to the sales methodology. If they tell us this is a sales methodology, then we should know that typically this sales methodology would include these processes, and Siebel out of the box can cater to certain processes. We should bring that on table immediately, and then we should be ready to gather the requirements for the rest of the things. Right, but this is how your mindset is. Once you know the sales methodology, you will learn more about sales methodology down the line. So I said, okay, Arun, what is the sales methodology? So now he's thinking in all the directions. Listen to what he said, and then we have to find fault in it. He says, what happens is, when we are talking to I said we means the BAs. When we BAs are talking to the customers, the sales rep is also talking to the customer. They has to sell very effectively. So BA is talking to the sales rep. He has to make sure that customer is happy. So he talks to the customer and makes sure he gathers the requirement for the methodology very well. What he is doing is, he is crossing these lines unnecessarily. We don't talk to anybody but SMEs. We don't talk to customers. He was saying that we talk to customers and gather the requirements from them. How can you say that? I mean, this is that means the person has no IT background whatsoever, right? Right? How can you say that? So this is the biggest, this is the most important context. You can never compromise this thing.
Okay.
I mean, you make this blunder, you will be pretty out of the same mark. Nobody can tolerate this, right? Because if you do not know IT at all, that means, so you say so when the customer send the order, so will BS work on the order? How can you say that? When we are talking about functionalities, in the context, customer word will be misused. As I said, many words will be misused. You cannot afford to, misunderstand those functionalities. It's a perfect example. Products, the way configuration works is configuration of products, right? So someone has to set those products up in the system, saying that this chassis can go with these RAMs only, right? He sets it up somewhere, and then when rep is submitting the order, then submitting the order, he picks that chassis, only related products will be shown, only those RAMs will be shown. Perfect. But product has to be configured first. Yes. Very nice. In CRM on demand, so this is the second riddle. In CRM on demand, entire configuration is done by the BA. What are we talking here? Talking about data configurator? Are we talking about product configurator? What are we talking? Context, which role is he substituting? Perfect. So our sales reps are very smart. When they're talking to customers, they gather their requirements very, very well. They make sure that each and every detail is captured. They are very smart. What does requirements mean here? In Siebel is used by service representatives sometimes, who are like level 1 rep, level 2 rep, level 3 rep, level 4 rep. Okay? And Siebel is used by service reps of level 1, level 2, all these guys, to support the users, to support the customers, sorry. Right? We know that, right? Someone just talking to me, a friend of mine, and I'm just talking to him, he's a fellow PA. Kal ko release hai, tomorrow there's a release. Be ready. Right. Tell me one thing. ये tech lead जोन सा है, why can't he be the level 1? Why do I have to be level 1? Yeah, all these guys, they call, and ask stupid questions. So he said, "ठीक है यार, let's be level 1 now. At least we have a job. We'll be able to do something." So क्या है यार? Why can't this tech lead take the call, yeah? All these level 1 guys, when they call, they don't even know. I don't want to be level 1. I don't want to be level 1. That guy, tech lead is that guy, the developer working for him. He should take the call. I should not take the call. I don't want to be level 1. All these level 1 guys, when they talk, it's like crazy, man. Someone in the interview asks you, can you explain all the steps that you took while releasing the product? What product is he talking about?
Siebel.
Yes. ठीक है?